Guyana Police Force warns against the sales and use of firecrackers during the holidays. Minister of Health: people who have recovered from COVID-19 are still at risk for post-COVID effects. Mayor and City Council advisory for commuters in the final days before Christmas. Internationally, COVID-19, UK patients take part in at-home treatment study, and China locks down 13 million in Xi'an after COVID-19 outbreak. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. On Tuesday, members of the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Prison Service conducted an early morning search of the New Amsterdam prison and discovered several unlawful items. The items found were phone batteries, lighters, scissors, razor blades, pieces of broken mirrors, cigarettes, 12 cell phones, charger heads, 17 improvised weapons, wires, and bottles of fermented wine. 2 Ziploc bags containing several leaves, seeds, and stems were among the items discovered. The items found were confiscated. Also in New Amsterdam, police in Regional Division No. 6 carried out an enforcement exercise against firecrackers on Tuesday in the New Amsterdam market area, where several explosives were seized from 48-year-old Azim Hassan of Palmyra Village, East Canterbury. The explosives were lodged. Hassan was arrested and placed on $10,000 cash bail to attend a New Amsterdam court on December 24th. The Guyana Police Force reminds citizens that explosives and firecrackers are prohibited and should not be sold, purchased, or used. Firecrackers are dangerous to humans and domesticated animals, and persons will be charged if found in possession of them. To make a report, you can call 911 or the nearest police station. The body of an unidentified male of East Indian descent was discovered in the wee hours of this morning at Dehu Public Road, Mahaica. Acting on information, a group of police officers went to the Dehu Public Road around 2 a.m., where they found an unidentified male of East Indian descent lying on the northern side of the road, undressed with a wound to his forehead and bruises about his body. The mutilated body was escorted to the Maikoni Cottage Hospital and officially pronounced dead by a doctor. The body is currently at the Anthony's Funeral Home for identification and post-mortem. Further investigations are underway. A 26-year-old mechanic on Tuesday, December 21st, appeared at the Linden Magistrates Court, slapped with several charges. Delroy Benjamin of Andyville, Wismer, Linden appeared before Magistrate Wanda Fortune via Zoom, where the charges were laid. The accused was not required to plead to the indictable charges, 4 counts of sexual activities with a child under the age of 16. However, he entered not guilty pleas on 5 traffic charges: escape from lawful custody, unlicensed driver, uncertified motor vehicle, unlicensed motor vehicle, uninsured motor vehicle. He was placed on $20,000 bail. Benjamin was remanded to prison for the serious offenses until January 6, 2021. The mayor and councillors of the city of Georgetown advises the public that Crowell Street between Water and Cornhill, as well as on Water Street between Brickdam and America Street, will be closed to vehicular traffic from today, the 23rd of December, to Friday, the 31st of December 2021. This closure is to facilitate vending during the Christmas season and to reduce vehicular congestion. The council encourages citizens to ensure they wear their masks as they conduct their businesses. Stick around after the break. Minister of Health: people who have recovered from COVID-19 are still at risk for post-COVID effects, and police in Linden are looking into the robbery and shooting of a taxi driver.
Shop at John Lewis Styles in December and you could win one Amazon Fire tablet every day. Yes, every day. And that's not all. 4 persons will win $500,000 to spend in the store. Just imagine $500,000 to spend on clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage, and accessories. So shop now at John Lewis Styles to win one Amazon tablet every day and $500,000 to spend in the store. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop Price Smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Taxi service, transportation for every occasion, short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call Kingdom Based Taxi Service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said that people who have recovered from COVID-19 are still at risk for post-COVID effects on the heart, brain, lungs, and blood, as well as other health issues. He said that the consequences change in various people depending on which organ of the body is affected the most. The minister explained that the virus affects every single human organ.
Different persons would have different manifestations of the disease depending on which organ for that person was most infected or affected. Some people, if the virus would have predominantly affected their brain, they continue even after being discharged from the hospital to have hallucinations. Sometimes they have what is called brain fog, meaning that in the midst of a conversation they kind of zoom out. They're not understanding what is going on around them.
The minister said some persons have heart difficulties with symptoms that mimic a myocardial infection or a heart attack. This problem has been found in younger patients.
Some persons, 30 years old, having typical signs and symptoms of heart disease. So they get pain in their chest and so forth. So that's something we have to monitor as well. We have seen persons who prior to COVID were not diabetics, and after COVID they would have presented with symptoms of diabetes. And again, we are seeing people not just with diabetes, but we are seeing people who would have other types of diseases relating to the endocrine system.
Blood diseases have also been observed in post-COVID-19 patients, but the most common post-COVID-19 complication is its effect on the lungs.
A number of the patients would have damage to their lung, and therefore they'll require physiotherapy to be able to help them to breathe properly. And some of them, the damage can be very challenging to repair, and sometimes it's not reversible. So for a few of those patients, they had to stay on oxygen, and it prevents them from working and a whole host of other things.
The minister emphasized that the health system now monitors these patients and obtains a detailed history to determine when they developed COVID and how to treat them. The ministry has established clinics at several hospitals, and these patients would generally return there for treatment. Since every patient has been affected differently, a team of professionals are needed to treat that person. The Minister of Health is urging people to be vaccinated and to follow the national COVID-19 guidelines and health precautions to avoid becoming infected. A 35-year-old male taxi driver from Linden has been robbed and shot in the leg by two gun-toting bandits at Phase 1B Wizrock, Wismar, Linden on Tuesday, December 21, 2021. Enquiries disclosed that around 7 p.m., the victim drove home and parked his vehicle in his garage. Upon exiting his car, he heard loud explosions that sounded like gunshots. Before the man could make his way into his house, he was confronted by two men, one armed with a handgun. Both suspects forced the victim to kneel and relieved him of one gold chain and one gold ring with values of over $250,000, after which one of the perpetrators punctured two of the car tires with a knife. The victim, who remained on the ground, begged for his life. However, the suspect with the handgun shot him in his left thigh. The men subsequently fled on foot. The victim raised an alarm and was assisted by public-spirited citizens who took him to the Linden Hospital complex. He was seen and examined by a doctor and treated for his injuries. He was admitted as a patient at the said institution. His condition is listed as stable. Several checks were made for the suspects, but they were not seen. On December 14th, a northern Linden of Vernon Gittins was robbed at Wismar, Linden. Similarly, he was confronted by two armed men while exiting his car at home. Investigations are ongoing. Don't go away after the break. Cryptocurrency gains popularity in Argentina amid economic crisis and COVID-19. UK patients take part in at-home treatment study. But before that, here's the Bridge Retraction schedule.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoons, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoons Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Argentina is in the middle of negotiations with the International Monetary Fund to reconstruct $44 billion it owes to the Global Fund. Meanwhile, cryptocurrencies have become a way for people in Argentina to protect themselves from endless economic crisis that includes inflation, devaluation, and now capital controls. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
This building housed a disco prior to the COVID pandemic. But the lockdown and Argentina's already shaky economy forced owner Sebastián Nil to adapt. He has now filled the room with machines used to mine cryptocurrencies. He's not only doing it for himself, but also for those who want to invest.
In the beginning, it was very complicated and hidden. They sent us an email address and we checked if it was valid. There were no phone apps. Now everyone wants to do it. We rent space and the handling of the machines, and we have to separate the farms because of heat and energy required to operate.
And it's proven a success. Nil has expanded, establishing mining farms all around Buenos Aires. They're located in restaurants and on rooftops with a growing list of clients.
Cryptocurrencies have become a way for people in Argentina to protect themselves from endless economic crises that include inflation, devaluation, and now capital control. These cryptocurrency farms use enormous amounts of electricity, and they're profitable here in Argentina because energy is relatively cheap if compared to other countries in the region.
Argentina is trying to recover from the economic effects of the pandemic. It's also about to close a $40 billion debt agreement with the International Monetary Fund to stabilize the economy. But many fear the medicine could be worse than the disease.
There is no agreement with the IMF without adjustments. So this protest is the beginning of a series of movements we will do to reject whichever agreement our country and our president signs with the IMF.
President Alberto Fernández says they're trying to close a deal that won't affect Argentina's most vulnerable citizens. He also says an agreement is essential to get the economy out of the red. Economists say a deal is necessary to give Argentina credibility in international markets.
The political survival instinct, I believe, will make the government close a deal. Argentina's macroeconomy and all the problems we face cannot resist another crisis. The agreement with the IMF is the only tool. The government has to stabilize the economy and generate expectations, which is what the country needs.
Argentina has had over 20 agreements with the IMF, and people here have gotten used to living in crisis. And that's why they have started to find alternatives like cryptocurrency mining that they hope will protect them from the fluctuations and instability of the economy at home. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, many are hoping antiviral drugs could ease pressure on hospitals as coronavirus cases rise. The United Kingdom approved a pill by Merck last month, but some are questioning its efficacy. Al Jazeera's Jonah Hall reports.
There have been many proclaimed game changers in the medical fight back against coronavirus. This is the latest. The US-made drug Molnupiravir was initially intended to treat the flu. It works by inserting errors into the genetic code of the virus, limiting its ability to multiply in the body. In practical terms, it's the first COVID medicine that can be taken in pill form at home to help the most vulnerable avoid severe disease, and last month the UK became the first country to approve its use.
I'm a research nurse working on a new national COVID-19 study. Calling you to see if you'd be interested in taking part in.
Researchers at the University of Oxford are testing it in more than 10,000 volunteers who've recently contracted COVID-19, like 51-year-old Glyn Talling.
I had to take, I think, 4 in one go, twice a day, so with a 12-hour gap over a period of 5 days, and nothing special about the medication, literally just normal capsules that you take with water, so all very straightforward. I had no side effects.
There are already questions over the effectiveness of molnupiravir after clinical trial results led the manufacturers to reduce the overall efficacy of the drug from 50% to 30%.
If you look at the studies generally, 30% is actually a very, very high level in terms of the benefits that we see on a large-scale study, and that's what we want to replicate here as well.
Molnupiravir is one of several new home treatments for COVID to be tested in what's being called the Panoramic study. They're likely to include the Pfizer-produced Paxlovid. It's a combination therapy based on old HIV treatments that Pfizer claims is up to 90% effective in preventing hospitalizations in high-risk patients. With 500,000 courses already on order here in the UK, the focus for now is firmly on molnupiravir.
If you catch COVID-19 early on and you treat it early on, you might then not be able to develop any severe symptoms, and this means reduction in hospital admissions and possibly taking off some of the pressure on the NHS. So quite an important study, I think.
Molnupiravir and drugs like it could prove valuable additions to a fast-growing medical arsenal. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, London.
The historic city of Xi'an in northern China is known for its ancient terracotta army. Now its 13 million residents have been ordered to stay home to contain a fast-spreading Delta variant outbreak. This comes after more than 200 COVID-19 infections were recorded since the beginning of the month. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
Chinese authorities have imposed their most severe lockdown in almost a year. 13 million people living in the northern city of Xi'an have been ordered to stay home from midnight on Thursday. Only one member of each household is allowed out to get food every 2 days, and only certified essential workers can head out for work. The measures prompted crowds to rush to grocery stores and markets earlier this week. More than 200 cases have been reported in the city since the beginning of the month. The outbreak of the Delta variant began with just 9 people and quickly spread.
The trajectories of the 9 cases were complex, involving transportation services and public places, including hospitals, commercial complexes, restaurants, and schools.
Hundreds of thousands of tourists flock to Xi'an, a former capital and historic hub, to see the terracotta warriors every year. Now, almost all transport in and out of the area has been cancelled. Residents must apply for special permission to leave the city. Authorities are currently conducting their 3rd round of mass testing.
So far, no cases of the Omicron variant have been locally transmitted in China, but officials here are on high alert. The Beijing Winter Olympics opens in February, and Chinese leaders have promised a safe and secure games where spectators will be able to attend.
Overseas spectators, however, won't be attending. China has maintained its zero-tolerance approach to the virus, and borders have been closed since March last year.
During the Winter Olympics, there will be a large number of Olympic-affiliated individuals from different countries and regions coming to China. There is a high possibility that a certain number of COVID-19 positive cases will arise.
More than 80% of the country's population have received 2 doses of coronavirus vaccines. Officials are now encouraging people to get a 3rd shot. But some studies have found that Chinese vaccines have lower efficacy and protection rates against the Omicron strain. Beijing has not approved the use of some other vaccines, such as Pfizer or AstraZeneca. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And it's all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.